Yo, yo, yo! Welcome back to Rama Screen live stream on YouTube. I still got about a half hour left till I have to go to that Meg 2 screening. You know, that sequel movie, Meg 2, with Jason Statham fighting Megalodon Shark. Or I think there are three sharks now. But before I go, I want to discuss this topic real quick. Because if I postpone it till tomorrow, I don't know if I'll have time tomorrow to do it. So let's get right to it. This article dropped earlier this morning on The Guardian. You know The Guardian, right? One of the most respected, notable outlets, journalistic outlets out there, The Guardian. I think Edward Snowden, right? I remember Snowden's whole ordeal was revealed first by the Guardian journalists. So the Guardian is, of course, is respected all over the world. So one of the columnists named Manuela Lazic, I hope I pronounced that last name correctly. She is also a filmmaker, I believe. Let's find out for on her profile here. Yes, film writer, filmmaker, actress. So she wrote an article about film criticism, which I am a part of. This is the business that I'm a part of. This is the world that I delve in. And about influencers versus film critics. The title is Who Needs Film Critics? When studios can be sure influencers will praise. There you go. Can you see it? Okay, will praise their films. Who needs film critics when studios can just get influencers to say glowing things about their movies? Um, I want to, just capture a few of the points, bullet points, paragraphs here and there. So try to keep up and follow along. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. So let's see here. The ones that stand out to me. The screening of Barbie, London press preview screening of Barbie. The embargo for reviews, however, will not be lifted until 2 days later, closer to the film's release. The audience generally didn't bat an eyelid, and it wasn't the first time my colleagues and I had heard such directives. Directives like "Feel free to share your positive feelings after the screening," and yet we were left feeling censored. If they won't allow for our negative reactions, why should they get our positive ones? The purpose of this screening strategy barely needs specifying, in addition to the film's omnipresent marketing campaign. The fact that the audience at this preview screening consisted mostly of influencers was another blatant marketing strategy, which would not have been as insulting were it not for the fact that it meant many film critics were not able to see the film before its release. Parisian means Paris, people Paris writers were dumbfounded to see some colleagues sharing glowing takes on the film on Twitter after being told there would be no advance screening for any of the press. Moreover, what were presented as exclusive interviews with the cast turned out to be pre-recorded and pre-approved by the studio. Ahead of its release, the film was to be seen only through pink tinted glasses. Now, keep in mind that this whole thing happened. Barbie junket, Barbie interviews happened before actor strike. So try to keep the actor strike out of your mindset as we're discussing this topic. This happened before actor strike. So what the Manuela is saying here, like a bunch of our us European critics and European entertainment journalists were not even allowed to screen the film Barbie beforehand. But there was this screening that apparently was meant for, guess who? Influencers. So only influencers get to and then after the screening they're like, oh, can you tell us what you like, what do you think about this movie, and I hope you guys like it. While it is customary for film studios to try to control the narrative by organizing advanced screenings if they believe in a film, or avoiding them if they don't, avoiding screenings, the methods employed for the release of Barbie were more extreme. They are symptomatic of a trend that has been evolving over the past few years and that concerns not only the film criticism profession, but culture at large. If all discussion of a film's merits before release is left to influencers, whose driving ambition is to receive free merchandise, by speaking well of the studio's products, what can we expect the film's landscape to look like? Where will engaging, challenging, and if not completely unbiased, then at least impartial conversation about cinema take place? And how is the audience to think critically of what is being sold to it? Okay, so you get the gist of it. Basically, the trend is that the studios are prioritizing influencers to get to screen their films early before critics or journalists do. So the writers are asking valid questions like, what will this do to our film culture? And will this dumb down the audience? They won't be able to think critically because hey, everything's so good. Everything's so good. You know, influencers tell me that these movies are so good or that movie is good. All of them are just so good. Um, and you know what? Let me give you an example that I saw 3 months ago, back in May, during the height of the popularity of Fast X. You remember that, the 10th Fast and Furious movie? Let's bring it back to my face here. Oh, come on, there you go. The TikTok account of Fast X. I don't know if you guys noticed. They had the premiere in Rome, the red carpet premiere in Rome, and I kid you not, I saw some of the videos on TikTok. It's just, I mean, on the red carpet, there were influencers. I mean, these are not like, and we're not talking about like, okay, so if you, the definition of influencers, you know, could be vague or could be broad, but basically you have to have your own platform. You have to have 1 million followers, right? If you have maybe under 1 million followers, I would argue whether or not you would be counted as an influencer. And number three, influence, like your followers would live and die by your words. So for example, I'm not an influencer. Why? Not only because I don't have 1 million followers or 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And it's also because when I tell you guys Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning sucks, you guys said no. Instead of like, oh, Rama said it sucks, I guess I won't be seeing it then. You know, I guess I'll avoid it. You know, if that was the if that had been the outcome, if you had been like, oh man, Rama said it's not good, I guess I'll stay home. If that had been the outcome, then yeah, I have influenced you. I don't know, I have a power over your decision making. Then I'm an influencer. But that's not the case. Hence, I'm not an influencer. So people live and die, you know, by the words of influencers. You know, whoever influencers you're following. So that's how I define influencer. So anyway, on TikTok, Fast and Furious TikTok, influencers on the red carpet in Rome, apparently Universal Pictures flew them there. Literally fly a bunch of freaking influencers to the red carpet. And for the sake of just doing videos on the carpet, like, and the video on the red carpets, they're not asking questions. They're playing games. They're doing silly stuff for like, you know, a couple of seconds of soundbite, you know, for the sake, you know, hopefully get viral and stuff like that. That's all it is. That's all it is. And the press that were there on the red carpet, do you think they got flown there by Universal Pictures? Come on, let's be real. The press there from America, not from Italy, they flew there at their own expense. You know, their editor had to, you know, out of their own pocket. So that's where the culture is now. And so and I guess you know it's important to also note that film critics and entertainment journalists sometimes could be both. Like they bleed into each other. You know, some people do separately. Like some people are just film critics, some people are just entertainment journalists, and some people are like me. We do both. So and so there are pushback from my community, like when they see that kind of stuff happening. It's like, wow, are we getting replaced? Are we getting kicked out to the side by these guys? And apparently that's the case. That is what's happening. And so this article is very lengthy, but it's dropping a lot of truth bombs, especially that the paragraph that says, like, back in the day, film critics are film criticism was very special, I guess the word I would use, or rare, or something unique. You go to the newspaper to read Roger Ebert's opinion about a movie before you decide on whether or not you go watch that movie in theater. Like, oh, I gotta see what Roger Ebert says about this. Because Roger Ebert is the only person in town who does what he does. Now with internet, film opinions and film criticism has been democratized and it's all saturated. Everybody's giving their opinions. Everybody's giving their criticism, including yours truly. It's not a rarity thing anymore. It's not something that you have to search for anymore. Like back in the day, with gotta find the column, Roger Ebert's column on the newspaper. Where's that page? Where's that page? It's not special anymore. You see what I'm saying? So that evolution, the dawn of internet has affected us that as well. Now it's the social media with TikTok and everything. And come the influencers that's threatening, if you will, um, the livelihood or the however little livelihood that film critics have been making on their own. So I get it. I get the frustration. But Scott Menzel, my friend from HCA, Hollywood Critics Association, also points out this thing in addition to Manuela's points in the article. He said it's not just influencers. There are several critics who always overpraise. Let me show it to you guys so you guys can see it. It's not just influencers. There are several critics who always overpraise films by certain studios. There are others who work for top outlets that won't or can't post negative reactions because they are worried about losing their access or not getting ad money for their outlets. And that is also true. That is also true. I don't want to name names, but I know for a fact that there are people in my community who always gives glowing praises every time, and they're not influencers. They're not like TikTokers or whatever like that. But they're so desperate for that. Like they really want to be so good with Disney. They want to be invited by Disney all the time. They want to be invited by Sony Pictures and Universal. It's like, oh, I don't want to get blacklisted by the studios, so I have to give them. But guys, I gave Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning a terrible reaction, terrible review. An awful this movie sucked. And guess what? Paramount Pictures still invites me. Paramount Pictures didn't say, "Oh, Rama, you know what? We hate what you said about Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, and therefore you will not be able to get to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. No, and from now on, no more Transformers movies for you as well." But no, I got to see Transformers. I got Rise of the Beast. I got to see TMNT. I don't know, man. I think some of these guys are just so insecure. The critics that are like afraid of losing access. They're so insecure. Like, oh, if I'm honest, if I become honest a little bit, then it would backfire. No, no. It would just make you an honest person. It would just make you seem brave. And if you do get blacklisted or like get kicked out of the screenings, then that speaks volumes about the studios, not you. That speaks about them. That speaks to them, their behavior. But back to the influencers, man. Also another example. Um, I have a friend who's a successful TikToker now. His name is Jared Buckendall, J Buck. Hey, J Buck, if you're watching this. And one time he found out that his TikTok review of Joyride, the movie Joyride, got posted on Joyride's official Instagram account without him saying so, without his consent, without his approval. Oh, dang. And then I think the whoever runs the Instagram account of Joyride, they had to apologize afterwards, and then they removed um, his video from their page. But that's where we are right now. The studios are so desperate for like influencers to say glowing praises about their product, and I think it's gonna happen more and more because with the writers and actors strike, they don't they these studios don't have actors to promote their shit. You know, they don't have the availability of celebrities. You know, because they're striking, they're picketing. So if you can't have the actors to promote it or do interviews or do junkets, what can you do? You know, so they're gonna double down on this whole influencers thing, and I think it's because it's also the lowest hanging fruit. You know, not just because influencers would do anything for free stuff, for free swag, or if you pay them, they yeah, I'll give you glowing reviews. But it's also the lowest hanging fruit. You know, they're so gettable, they're so easy to get. You know, they're so they want influencers want attention, they want fame, and whatever can get them more clout, more viewers, more clicks. You know, what happened? You know, even it doesn't matter if the influencers are not from the cinema kind of influencers, you know, or films kind of influencers. You know, because it could be fashion influencers. It could be like big Instagram models. You know, it's like come on in, let's have you review our movies. You know, because the studios know that these guys are not critical thinkers in terms of movies. And I get it that film opinions are subjective, you know, so it's not, you know, there's no right or wrong in film opinions. I get that, but man, if it's everything, if it's just so, if everything is just two thumbs up all the time, every single time, oh, and then yeah, especially if you get fooled by it, you know, like, oh yeah, that's so and so on TikTok says great, and then you go to the theater and turned out it's not. Oh man, you wasted money, and you come out of that screening pissed off. It's just I get it, but they know the studios by then the studios will have already run out the back door with your money. So I get it. I guess the business thing. Um, but yeah, that's where we are right now, and I don't know. That's why I post a poll both on YouTube and Twitter. Should influencers get access to celeb interviews, movie premieres, and press screenings? Should they do that or not? I know they already do. No, they already have that. So the question is, should they be allowed? You know, should that continue? So I hope you engage in that poll. I would love to see your reaction to that, like the result of that poll. Um, do I feel threatened by this? A little bit. You know, I'm not I'm not handsome. You know, I'm not, as you know, English is my second language. You know, my grammar is all over the place, and I'm not the fastest speaking guy. I would always get all the time, so I can't compete with influencers. You know, especially the younger they are, you know, the more people go to TikTok for 80% of the time for the appearance. You know, whether or not the person is hot, they don't really care much about the substance of what they're discussing on that video. So yeah, and as I grow older, I feel that I get threatened a little bit. You know, but then again, I'm not really making money off of YouTube. You know, because I'm a small timer. I'm not making money off of film criticism. So you know, to say that I'm threatened, it's also a little bit sad, because what am I being threatened about? It's not like you know, this is my livelihood. No, it's like I have another daytime job that pays the bill. So I guess my being threatened in a way that I guess threatened in the sense that, man, this is what I love doing. You know, I love telling people what I think about movies and stuff. And if these guys get, you know, if these guys influencers become the reason why the studios end up shutting their doors or slamming their doors on our faces, you know, including mine, then yeah, that's what I meant by being threatened by these. So I don't know what the solution is, but this is a very interesting topic. I highly recommend that you guys read this um, lengthy but very profound, very informative, very enlightening article on The Guardian by Manuela Lazik. She broke it down in details, like really good. Like I've never. This is probably the best article about film criticism that I've read today. To this date, that I've read to this date. I've read a few in the past, but this is like the best one. So let me know your thoughts about this topic in the comment section below. And I gotta get to go, and I gotta go. I gotta get to the Meg 2 screening now before I'm late. All right, thanks guys. Let's rock this.